Guys, today we are going to have a session about cinema and the Turkish cinema and one of the cult movie about the mischief fortune guys at high school, and it is like a comedy, and also it can be said like didactic comedy a bit, and it was adapted from a novel of Rifat Ilgaz first, and then it was worked on, and by modification has been applied via Ertem Eğilmez, and we are going to talk with assistant director and also actor, one of the actor of the movie called HABABAM Boncuk, and we are going to talk about how the movie was adapted from the novel, and from literature to theater to widescreen, let's say, to Yeşilçam, like Turkish Hollywood, let's say, for better understanding for people don't know what Yeşilçam means. And so and so on. It was a critics of education system in somehow it is adapted, and also the profile of the people and what kind of messages has been delivered during the movie, and why the system is criticized in sense of commercialization of education system in 70s, actually, in because the novel was written in it was they were stories actually in the beginning, not the novel, but the stories, and small stories, and then they have been gathered, and then some and also some says 1957, and then they published the 1964, and from there it was adapted, and then the theater, and then to on 1975, so it was moved to widescreen, let's see, on TV, on movie, sorry. So it was the time of in Turkey. It was the time in late 60s. The first TV came to Turkey, and then afterwards the cinema sector have been impacted, let's say, and also there was a crisis, so there was a bottleneck in somehow, because the audiences and viewer were switched to TV rather than going movies, and then Yeşilçam took a new direction, and the sex movies booms, and blah blah blah, and there were many cases, and also censorship in Turkey as well, and political censorship, let's say. So within this conjuncture, and there were some let's say the restrictions and the borders, and somehow it was hard to act and hard to take giant steps, because people don't want to invest on movies, and that in this regard, and the quality of the movies change a bit. So in that sense, in 75, what happened first? When we come over, and when we watch the movies, let's say the two movies in the beginning, the one the one shot at Spring in 1975, and it takes about 30 days to shut, and then it's been, and it has a record actually, because it was on the Vision 56 weeks. It was on the Vision. So that was a challenge in that years. And the second HABABAM came into stage in autumn the same year. I mean, the 1975 came to stage, and it has a new record, and so it was. And when we take the situation like this, because the teachers in sense of education system, and there were some points to be underlined. The first one, actually, the education system, there was a critics of commercialization of education system. And if we go to the scene and plans of the movie, the first movie, actually, the Mahmut Hoca, Kel Mahmut, and asked, they know, we should think and act properly, otherwise we would be merchants, he said in a scene. And on the second part also, Semra Hoca, the literature teacher, and she had the same attitude actually. And also, another thing is compassion of people, and also the solidarity between the students, and there was no wild competition between the students. So there was kind of a solidarity which it seems like it is not normal, because even the competition for a girl, let's say, in Turkish we say kız kavgası, and so there was not fierce or wild competition between Badi Ekrem and Inek Şaban and something like this. And the characters, in sense of characters, and also we are going to talk with the hard worker, and among the lazy students there was one student working hard, Hababam Boncu. But there was something interesting because he was in complete solidarity with his friends, and he never and ever made an attempt for espionage for any of them. Therefore, there were kind of solidarity in between. Once his family couldn't finance him, and then his friends, and I mean the students, the lazy students of Altı A Edebiyat, and so they get money around, and they try to help their friends. And finally Mahmut Hoca covered the debts, and so let him to continue his education. That's another part, but in somehow there were such kind of solidarity among them. So that was very prominent actually. That seems not normal, but it is the fact. And another critics actually in education system, there was a kind of memorization. So it was just like the scene of Neron, or when the conquest of Istanbul, 1453, and so it was like this. So that was an interesting session, but it was underlying also and critics about the education system, and how the memorization will lead to education system. Another fact is again the commercialization and the capitalism and the kind of liberal look to the education system, all were cross. It was a crossway actually in this regard, and so the head of the school, and he has a very merchant mind, so let's say like this, and but Mahmut Hoca was another profile in this regard, and he was just like an he created in HABABAM sınıfı, yani Carpe Diem, and he was just like, and to a certain extent, he was like a Robin Williams of the Carpe Diem, and it's that poet society in somehow, and so Özel Çamlıca Lisesi was completely different, and it was taken at Adile Sultan Kasrı, and so the museum, let's say. And another fact, there were some critics, of course, and Hafize Ana is carrying copies and that help students, help lazy students for cheating, and a baby in school and this and that. But there was something, they have a mercy for people. They were very lazy, but they have a mercy. That was very important. And also they have a respect, and they have a good heart. That was very prominent as well. So far so good, and we will discuss more tonight at 9:30, and so see you on there. Bye bye.